Hey, I'm here with Christian Bradbury. I'm very happy to have one of my very good personal friends here with me. And, I'm glad you got to come by today.
Good to see you, brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the reason I had you come by is because we're going to talk a little bit about sports. I mean, it's March right now.
Yeah, March Madness, baby.
Why not talk about the college basketball and how crazy it is, right? And then we'll kick into a little bit of the football and everything and how that's going on. All right. CBSSports.com. I'm going to go by the seeds and how the bracket has been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, a 16 seed has never beaten a number 1 seed. Now, that stands true even today.
Mm-hmm.
We thought this might be the year that a 16 seed would beat a 1 seed, but it still has yet to happen.
Yeah.
Now, 15 seeds only made it to the second round 6 times. Now, there's a reason I'm going through all these, because once I get through all these seeds, I'm going to ask you how you feel about it.
Okay.
Now, number 14 seed has made 2 teams has made it to the Sweet 16. That's as far as the 14 seeds ever made it.
VCU Rams was one of those, wasn't it?
I believe you're correct.
I believe so.
Absolutely. The 13 seed has only had 5 teams make it to the Sweet 16. A 12 seed's only had 1 team make it to the Elite 8. A number 11 seed has had 3 Final Four appearances. A 10 seed has had 9 Elite 8 appearances. And a 9 seed's had 1 Final Four appearance. And of course, the highest seed is a number 8 that's won a championship. Number 7's had 1 Final Four appearance. The number 6 seeds had 2 championships. Number 5's had no champions, but 3 runner-up. Interesting.
Okay.
And then the number 4's had 1 champion. The number 3's had 5. Number 2's had 5 champions. And of course, the number 1, being the seed you want to be, has had 13 different teams on 19 different occasions win the championship.
Well, yeah.
Now, with this information that I've given you, I think we can both agree that you want to be a number 1 seed, correct?
I believe you're right on that, Kevin.
If you were not a number 1 seed, what seed would you want?
Well, and Kevin, when you look down to it, man, there's a lot of things that go into it, but those seedings, obviously, the higher ranked you are, the easier chances are, because you're going to face, for the most part, lower bracketed teams and home court advantage, all that fun stuff, right? But when you look down to it, the seeding doesn't matter. It's the team that you're putting on the floor. So whether you put me at the 16th seed, even though history shows that doesn't really, the numbers say they don't have a chance, or the 2nd seed, I mean, obviously the higher the better, but it doesn't really matter.
So to clarify what you are saying then, unless you're a number 1 seed, you really don't care what seed you are at that point.
Correctamundo.
Absolutely, absolutely. So here's another question. This is a tough one, right?
Okay.
Now, if you already knew your destiny was to win the national championship, you were hanging the banners in your school no matter what, would you want to be the most feared number 1 seed? Or would you rather rewrite history and be a number 9 or higher seed?
I mean, really, you want to be, if I knew I'm going to win, I want to be as low as possible, just to kind of shake everything up a little bit, I mean, your bracket busters and fun things like that on one side of it, but, in the history book side of it, I mean, you expect the number 1 to win, but if you're coming in there and let's say you're in the Final Four and I'm arriving as the 9 seed or even the 16 seed, people are thinking. I think that plays a little more mentally into the heads of your opponent as opposed to being the number 1, because people are motivated by that. Nobody wants to get beat by a lower seed.
Right.
So that for me, I'd rather be the underdog as opposed to the odds-on favorite.
Excellent, excellent. All right, another tough question, Christian.
Okay.
All right. Who's your Cinderella and who wins it all?
Okay, well, if you ask me, Kevin, I really have to put some thought into this one. But I tell you, Gonzaga at 11 is looking phenomenal this year. So if I'm going to go with my Cinderella, I'm going Gonzaga. Now, if you ask me who's winning it this year, I got to say history repeats itself, of course. And I'm going with the number 1 seed in Kansas.
Those are both good picks. I mean, Dante Sabonis for Gonzaga. I'm sorry, he's looking phenomenal.
He's a man.
And Wayne Selden for Kansas has really been leading his team.
I'm telling you.
Great picks leading his team.
I'm telling you.
Great picks, by the way. Great picks. Let's move on to the NFL. The draft's coming up, as we both know.
Yep.
And it seems to be that most of the mock drafts are saying that the offensive tackle out of Mississippi is going to go to the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
And they want to beef that O-line up for Marcus Mariota, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Now, the real question here is the Browns. Now, the Browns have had a sketchy past, right?
Yeah.
So, I was doing a little research on NFL.com, And since the Browns moved back to Cleveland, as an expansion team, they've drafted 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, the very first year they drafted Tim Couch, number 1 overall. He, of course, was a flop. Breaks my heart. I'm from Kentucky. And then they went and they drafted Brady Quinn, number 22 overall, a few years later.
Yeah.
Brandon Whedon, a number 22 pick overall as well. And then, of course, Johnny Football, right? Yeah. Number what? 22 overall. So
That's a bad number.
this year they have the number 2 pick, and it's looking like they're going to go quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And the real question here is it going to be Carson Wentz or is it going to be Jared Goff?
Yeah.
Now, what do you think as far as what's going to make one of those 2 quarterbacks stand out and actually be the face of the Browns, or is this just another Browns flop at the draft?
Well, Kevin, here's my thing. The Browns have a lot of needs
Mm.
in a lot of areas.
Right.
And I don't know that Jared Goff or Carson Wentz are the guy. Now, don't get me wrong. I think they're both going to be solid NFL players. They got a very high ceiling. Both of them have a lot of quarterback IQ. However, I see the Browns actually trading out of that spot.
Okay.
And there's some possible landing spots. There's a few people that want to hop up because Jalen Ramsey is a big name. And because he's very versatile. He can play corner, he can play safety. I mean, really, the guy can play linebacker.
You're talking about the Florida State player, correct? Yes.
Correct. And so there's a lot of desire there. Now, do they go quarterback? I don't think so at all. If they did, I would say Carson Wentz is the better choice there, just because he's got a little more of NFL type versatility in him as far as with his arm. But I see them trading out even as low as 10.
Okay.
And really trying to stock up and pick up a few draft picks and really try to bolster their entire offense, if you ask me.
Right. So you feel like they're going to pull a St. Louis Rams and try to trade out. And now,
Correct.
Hopefully whoever trades doesn't get a bust like RG3 was, right?
Let's hope not.
I mean, he still could come around, but
Yeah.
it's not looking good for them. Okay, excellent. Speaking of the NFL again, we're going to talk about the playoff system.
Okay.
Now, last year, for instance, in the AFC, the New York Jets had a 10-6 record. However, they were back in New York watching the playoffs. And the Houston Texans, with a 9-7 record, was actually in the playoffs. Now, with home field advantage of the wild card game, by the way.
Of course.
So, you, Mr. Bradbury, how do you feel the playoff system should be? Should it be your top 6 teams? Kind of like the NBA is. The NBA is your top 8 teams. Should the NFL go to your top 6 teams? Or is it fine the way it is and sometimes that just happens?
Well, to me, I like the system that the NBA is going with right now, Kevin, because, a few years back, the Seahawks actually made it into the playoffs with a 7-9 record.
Right.
And not even above 500 average, which is atrocious. Because there was teams that year that went 10-6 and were sitting on the couch.
Right.
So, Kevin, to me, really we need to go more of a power type system as opposed to division winners.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people have that same feelings because you have a 16-game season, and as you and I both know, we're big football fans. Now, we don't agree on teams.
Absolutely.
But nevertheless, big football fans here. Those 16 games, they're important.
Yeah.
And every
Every one of
win, every loss counts. And to me, I agree with you 100%. To me, it seems like it's not justice for those teams that can win 10 games. 10 games isn't easy to do.
Absolutely.
And if you can win 10 games and you're sitting at home and you got like you said, a 9-7 or 8-8, 7-9 teams that are going to the playoffs and you're sitting at home, it just feels like there's some kind of injustice to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
Now, Christian, I must say it's been an absolute pleasure. I do appreciate you coming by. Answering these tough questions because we know that they were tough, right?
Absolutely.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. And again, I was very honored to have my friend Christian Bradbury here with me today.
Absolutely, Kevin. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.